It's Tuesday Hoops. Up next, it's the Boston Celtics going up against the Toronto Raptors. Up next on 2K Sports.
The Air Canada Centre is filled to capacity. We've got the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors. With Clark Kellogg doing the analysis, this is Kevin Harlan for 2K Sports in our broadcast of the NBA. So let's take a look at the Boston Celtics starting lineup. They've got Michael Jordan, Kevin McHale out there with Wallace, then there's Jennings and Schrempf. And for Toronto, we've got Russell Westbrook, Devon's out there with Grant, and it's Drexler. Toronto came in second in the Atlantic Division last year, 11-5.
Yeah, and Toronto and Boston were really the only good teams in that
division. And so off the tip, it's Toronto. Behind the arc, kept alive. The tray, that's good. Drexler's got his first 3 points of the game.
The defense made the mistake of playing off him, and he drained it from deep.
The Raptors, Clark, demolished the Nets and the Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers.
As you would expect, but they had no answer for the Celtics. They were bageled in 4 meetings against Boston.
Probably the big surprise of the playoffs last year. And finished off by Drexler.
Let's toss it up there and let your teammate take care of his business.
Clark, really, is there a prettier play in the game of basketball than that?
I don't think so. Boy, Westbrook is just an amazingly fast guard. I mean, it's when you see him in person that you realize just how quick he is. I mean, he comes up on you in a heartbeat.
So here's Westbrook. 2:07 left in the first. Jennings gets whistled for blocking. That's his first foul.
A little too much body contact there. You have to stay in front of the ball handler by moving your feet, or you'll get tagged with that call every time.
And Toronto has possession. And here's Westbrook. Here's Grant. Michael Jordan grabs the miss. Thinking back to Westbrook now, where do you think he ranks in the league as far as speed goes, Clark?
At the very top. I mean, a foot race between him, LeBron James, Darren Collison. Man, that would be fun to watch.
That would be.
Snares the offensive rebound, then sends it home.
On defense, Boston. He's guarded by Jennings. Here's Sprewell, and that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook.
He's just so gifted offensively. He's a tough guy to match up with.
Celtics on offense. And 3 from Jordan. And again, Boston with the triple.
Wow, talk about confidence and attitude. He dropped that fast break triple right in the defender's face.
And it's Drexler that time on the assist by Westbrook. Drexler's got 7 points. And here are the Celtics now. They trail by 1. Here is Schrempf. Off target for 3. 42 seconds left in the first quarter. Here's Sprewell. And almost gets it to go, so he'll shoot 2 here.
Brandon Jennings. His second versus second team. Sprewell. Taking 2 shots.
The first one falls. Luke Longley's checked in for Toronto. West comes in for Russell Westbrook. And then for Boston, Tyson Chandler is checked in for Wallace. Villanueva comes in for McHale. And it's Dragic in for Brandon Jennings. Both shots good from the stripe. Here's Dragic. Outside Jordan, over Drexler. That doesn't go either for Jordan.
Kevin, that's the kind of shot you want. You can't ask for better execution on offense, but sometimes they just don't fall.
Celtics foul call. Charlie Villanueva. That's his first personal foul. Third team foul. Sprewell.
First one falls for him.
2 shots.
And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Here's Dragic. Schrempf with it. And Boston turns it over.
Toronto Raptors.
Raptors leading by 5. Dragic gets the reach-in call. That's his first foul of the game. In the bonus, will go to the free throw line.
That's his first personal foul. 4-2.
And the first one drops.
At the line for the Raptors, Delonte West taking 2 shots.
And so he hits both.
And this is the difference in the game. I mean, they're drawing fouls and then converting at the foul line. It's hard to make a pinpoint pass from that far away. He couldn't get a hold of it.
Grant connects from 13 feet out.
Sometimes folks forget about his decent mid-range jumper. He can knock those down all game given a chance.
And Boston turns it over.
Raptors ball.
Here's West. Here's Drexler. No good on that last second attempt there. First quarter over, and big numbers up on the board. It's the Raptors. They lead by 9.
Well, they're scoring with ease. They've definitely hit the ground running. Let's see if they can keep it up.
It's more NBA coming your way. Now the second quarter about to start. Here's Farmar. Fans of the Celtics, they built such a rapport with their franchise. Each generation, it seems, to grow, and Boston now is a veteran team. You know, frankly, though, one of the older teams in the NBA.
Absolutely, Kevin. And there were a lot of questions about if their window might be passed or closing. I think the way they played in May answered all of those questions, though. They still are a championship caliber team and can turn it on when they need to.
So with Jordan on the bench, here's the 5 for Doc Rivers right now. Gallinari is out there with Kevin McHale. Then there's Farmar. Let's swing it over to Doris Burke.
Kevin, thank you. Well, a painful finals loss for this Celtics team last season. 2 chances to finish off the Lakers. They were ahead in Game 7 for 3.5 quarters, but couldn't get the job done. Now, with an aging roster, the question becomes whether the Celtics have what it takes to make another run. Guys, we'll see what this season holds for them.
Well, I wouldn't count them out just yet, Doris. Thank you. You mentioned turning it on. You wonder, though, if they're going to try to turn it on at some point and it won't happen.
Well, you know what? Maybe at some point that will be the case, but until that is the case, you've got to consider them as a title contender each year, especially if they're healthy.
McHale misses.
Ill-advised shot there, no question about it.
Here's Sprewell. And 2 free throws coming up as the whistle blows. He barely missed that one. Last season, a trying one for the Raptors and their fans, just missing the playoffs in the East.
Well, it came right down to the wire, Kevin. The Raptors actually played fairly well against the Eastern Conference, too, 29-23. You wonder if they could have made a little noise in the playoffs had they gotten there.
Both teams deciding to change it up. And so he makes both from the line. Here's Jennings. No points for him. From the wing, and it's Jordan. That time on the assist from Brandon Jennings. You know, Clark, the Raptors were the second best team in the Atlantic Division right in back of Boston.
Yeah, but it just didn't come together enough, especially late for them at the end.
Brandon Jennings, the former National High School Player of the Year, over 35 points a game as a senior.
And he took an interesting route for him to get to the NBA. I mean, he was scheduled to go to college at Arizona, then decided to play overseas in Rome.
Jordan with the bucket. And Clark, you talk about Brandon Jennings. He was an early favorite for Rookie of the Year in the NBA.
Yeah, he got off to that terrific start. He hung 55 on the Golden State Warriors, and then he cooled off a bit as the season wore on.
That's good. 13 points in the game.
Well, that was a nice start. After having a good first quarter, he's showing us more of the same here.
Here's Jennings. 44 seconds left in the second. Here's Jennings. The three.
It's Tuesday Hoops. Up next, it's the Boston Celtics going up against the Los Angeles.
We've got a filled arena here in downtown Los Angeles. We've got the Boston Celtics taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kevin Harlan here with Clark Keller as we bring you the NBA on 2K Sports. So let's take a look at the Boston Celtics starting lineup. Shrimp out there with Kevin McHale. Then there's Jennings. Then it's Wallace and Jordan. And for the Lakers, we've got Chris Bosh and Davis. Great history between these two teams. Clark doesn't get much better than Boston, Los Angeles, Lakers, Celtics for some intensity.
Without question, I mean, you go back and think about all of the championship series these teams have competed against one another in. I mean, I think it's not only the premier rivalry in the NBA, I think it's one of the great rivalries in the history of all sports, especially at the professional level, because there was always so much at stake when these two teams teed up.
Always great names, too.
Big-time names.
Characters along the way.
Yeah, Hall of Famers across the board on both sides.
Moments ago, our Doris Burke caught up with Phil Jackson. Doris?
Kevin, he said at their own end of the court, it's interior defense that coach thinks will be their biggest asset. With the shot blockers they have, no easy baskets is their mantra today. They want to send a few back at him, Kevin.
Thanks, Doris. So defense is the key early on.
You know, it's not surprising, Kevin, when you think about the great team. So much of their game planning really starts at the defensive end of the floor.
Jennings gets the whistle for blocking. That is his first foul of the game. On defense, Boston. Here's Irving. The shot misses, and the Celtics go with it the other way. And going back to this rivalry, Clark, with the recent finals meetings, and in fact just last year, it's picking up right again with this regular season.
Well, you love to see that. I mean, it's unbelievably good for the league when you have these two teams with such great tradition and history and excellence going at it again.
Davis, and the jumper falls for him. Davis has got his first 2 points. And here are the Celtics now. Here's Schrempf. Buries the triple.
For three.
Here is Davis. 1:31 left in the first. Here's Havlicek. Can't answer back with his own three. Brandon Jennings, the former National High School Player of the Year, over 35 points a game as a senior.
And he took an interesting route for him to get to the NBA. I mean, he was scheduled to go to college at Arizona, then decided to play overseas in Rome.
Here is Davis following the basket by Michael Jordan. Here's Robinson. Drops it in from 12 feet. Robinson's got his second basket of the game. On defense, the Lakers. They trail by 3. Outside Jordan. Fires from behind.
It's Tuesday Hoops. Up next, it's the Detroit Pistons going up against...
We are live from Boston for an Eastern Conference contest with the Celtics. Here with Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan for 2K Sports in our presentation of the NBA. And now the opening lineup for Detroit. They've got Price and Nowitzki. And for the Celtics, they've got Michael Jordan, Kevin McHale out there with Wallace. Then there's Jennings and Schrempf. Fans of the Celtics, they built such a rapport with their franchise. Each generation, it seems, to grow, and Boston now is a veteran team. You know, frankly, though, one of the older teams in the NBA.
Absolutely, Kevin. And there were a lot of questions about if their window might be passed or closing. I think the way they played in May answered all of those questions, though. They still are a championship-caliber team and can turn it on when they need to.
Now we'll go to Doris Burke, who had a chance to talk with head coach John Kuster.
Kevin, I asked him what their plan of attack will be, and he responded basically by saying that they don't want to make this a three-point shootout. He would strongly prefer to use the talent they have on the inside. He wants most of their shots coming from in close, not long range. Quality low post opportunities is what we're looking for, guys.
Thanks, Doris. You mentioned turning it on. You wonder, though, if they're going to try to turn it on at some point and it won't happen.
Well, you know what? Maybe at some point that will be the case, but until that is the case, you've got to consider them as a title contender each year, especially if they're healthy.
And so it's the Celtics getting on the board first. Shoots from 12, and it's Russell missing.
Great defense there. Challenged the path of the shooter, which caused the miss.
And Jordan gets it to go.
Boy, when you run the fast break correctly, it's a thing of beauty.
On defense, Boston. Price kicks it to West. All alone, and that's good for 2.
He's just so gifted offensively. He's a tough guy to match up with.
Tipped.
The lob was a little misjudged, and he couldn't get control of it.
Here's Baylor, and sinks it from 3.
The fast break left the defense discombobulated. As a result, he had the open 3.
West against Jordan. Takes a 3. That doesn't go either for Jordan. Now Russell. Here's Price. Hits the front rim and doesn't go.
Really not enough defensive pressure there to force that miss. He's got to be disappointed.
So both teams going at it here early. And it's been a tight game as the second quarter gets going. Here is Jennings. Well, Clark, last season, a grisly one for the Pistons. Their record was really something.
Yeah, it was a tough season. And if the season was tough, how about the traveling? On the road, just 10-31, Kevin. That was the third worst record on the road in the East.
On the floor for Detroit, Nowitzki is out there with Perkins. Then it's Duhan and West. And now our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, has some info for us. Doris, take it away.
Kevin, there's no doubt that Will Bynum can really elevate for a guy 6 feet tall. Since he was a kid, he'd grab a phone book and do calf raises on it, about 1,000 a day, to try to improve it. He also wore, quote, jump soles to school. He said the kids laughed at him, but they stopped laughing once they saw him dunk. Guys, back to you.
Great story. Thank you, Doris. So, Clark, how do the Pistons get back to their winning ways?
Well, you first start off with personnel. It's going to be difficult based on the players they have to really make headway, but they've got to be healthy, and then they've got to become better at the defensive end of the floor.
And better on the road, too, huh?
Well, defense will help you do that.
Yes, right. Here is Duhan after Kevin McHale's score. Here's Schrempf, connects on the baseline jumper. Here is Duhan. They can make this a 2-for-1 opportunity. West outside. Off target for 3.
Both teams really matching up well on the board. We've got ourselves a pretty good game here, Kevin.
Schrempf. Off the mark with the 3 ball. And here are the Pistons now. They trail by 1. And here is Duhan. He dumps it off. And Nowitzki backs in from 17 feet out. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Duhan. Nowitzki's got his first 2 points. Here's Schrempf. No good on the buzzer beater. And so we wrap up the first half. Pistons ahead, leading by just 1.
And it's halftime in Boston in a close one. Welcome to the HP Halftime Show. I'm Damon Bruce. A look at a pair of names we figured would be leading the way.
Well, it's been a tight game as we enter the second half. Both teams going at it. Boston trailing. The Detroit Pistons trying to get back on track after an uncharacteristic losing season a year ago.
Yeah, and Kevin, if they're going to climb back up in the standings in the East, they can start by taking care of some of the teams in the Eastern Conference. I mean, they were just 18-34 playing against teams in the East last season.
We've got Wallace. Schrempf out there with Kevin McHale, and it's Michael Jordan and Jennings. That's the 5 to begin the second half for Doc Rivers. On defense, the Pistons. Following the basket by Michael Jordan, the Pistons felt, Clark, like they needed to reconstruct their team since they weren't getting any younger, but the rebuilding hasn't been as smooth as they had hoped.
Not at all, Kevin. I mean, this is an organization with championship aspirations, and just making the playoffs is not good enough for the Pistons. Unfortunately, with the renovation and the rebuild last season, they couldn't even get that done.
Here's Price. No points for him. Here's Baylor. Kept alive. Nowitzki against McHale. And the shot is good from Nowitzki.
They've been trading buckets and trading leads. What outstanding competitors out there.
Pass to McHale. Some solid D from Nowitzki. The Pistons leading. It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. Short is tagged with the reach. That's his first foul. Gallinari, he's checked in for the Celtics. Dragic comes in for Brandon Jennings. The Pistons making a switch here. Here's Elo. Off the inbound. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Dirk Nowitzki.
You've got to close out on that mid-range jump shot.
Down low, here's Jordan.
Took flight and rose above all. He changed the game and became a legend.
It's Tuesday Hoops, up next, only on 2K Sports.
Two teams, two conferences. It's a road game for the Heat in this one. Good Tuesday morning. Let's get this day started out right with the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan. So with Johnson sitting on the bench, this is who Eric Spoelstra has on the floor. Bill Laimbeer out there with Pippen. Then there's Allen Iverson. Then it's Chris Paul. They've got B.J. Armstrong. Allen Iverson out there with Michael Jordan. Then it's Henderson. The away team take the tip-off and will set up the offense. Now Laimbeer. Knocked loose. Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Kevin, I had a chance to talk with head coach Eric Spoelstra. There was one point in particular that he emphasized. This is a very fast team they're up against, and he told me that their goal will be to force them to earn their points in the half-court offense, not get loose in transition, guys.
Thanks again, Doris. Evans, left side. It's tipped and taken away by Paul. Picked his pocket. From deep, Jordan kept alive. Pass to Paul. Tipped. Now here's Jordan. Lets loose for three. Scooped up. The second chance effort. Had a piece of it. And here's Laimbeer. Laimbeer had his pass go out of bounds. And they'll give up the ball.
Sometimes you just don't connect. They can't dwell on it. They've got to move on and just D up and get it back.
Both teams deciding to change it up. Evans backs him down. Deflects the pass. Stolen by Pippen.
He got baited into throwing that one. The defense was well on top of it.
Number 27. That falls. Nice feed that time from Scottie Pippen. Last season was a tumultuous one for Allen Iverson.
You know, from an unhappy situation in Detroit, an aborted pairing with the Memphis Grizzlies, and then a short stay in Philly, I mean, it was musical chairs for him. And you heard things weren't much better on the home front, unfortunately.
Now here's Kobe. And Allen Iverson the bucket, the assist from Kobe. Still without a basket in the game. Evans inside. Good. And it's Iverson who picks up the assist. Here's Kobe. 58 seconds left in the first. Number 27. Scooped up. Number 53. Connects from in close.
Snares the offensive rebound, then sends it home.
And here comes Iverson. Got a piece of it. Here's Fortson with the fadeaway. Rebound by Pippen. The break is on. Here's Kobe, and he drops it in on the layup. Kobe's got his first points in this one. And here comes Iverson. Number 32. Scottie Pippen grabs the miss. And here's Kobe. The tray, good. Kobe's got 5 points so far.
They're really giving them all they can handle here. The defense is having a hard time keeping up.
Here's Baxter, scooped up. Bryant with it. Can't get it to go. That's going to do it for the first quarter. The away team up 7.
And they've really played well on D. It's all about teamwork and communication.
And now the second quarter just about to begin. Here is Calderon.
There was a poll taken last season among NBA players asking which players had the best basketball IQ. Guess who came in first? Kobe Bryant.
No surprise there, huh?
None at all.
So with Jordan on the bench, this is Phil Jackson's lineup. Henderson out there with Durant. Then there's Calderon. Their biggest lead of the game was 9. Now let's check in with the third member of our crew, Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, you want to hear about what makes Kevin Durant special. His former teammate at Texas, point guard DJ Augustin, also in the NBA, said he's 6'9", can do everything a guard can do. He has a winning attitude, and he works harder than anyone I've ever met. And guys, you hear that everywhere. Durant, always the first guy on the bus on game days. He's at practice an hour early and leaves 2 hours late. When your best player is this dedicated, it has a contagious effect on the rest of the team. Gentlemen?
Combine supreme talent with a tireless work ethic, and you've got Kevin Durant. Good story. Thanks, Doris. Deflected. Wasn't careful with his position. He gets nailed with the backcourt violation. So both teams changing it up here. Here is Calderon. Here's Hooper. Chance there to take the lead. Missing. Udrich for 3. That's good.
They're hovering around 50% for the game in three-pointers. That's pretty good. But they've really elevated here in the second quarter.
The quick shot. The rebound by Kukoc.
That shot didn't have a chance. He doesn't have the softest touch, and the defense was in his jersey. Got to look for a better shot. Looks like they switched to man D here.
Goes up. In there for 2 on the lay-in.
Well, everybody's trying to do it one-on-one defensively. I'm not seeing much help defense out there at all. You've got to play together at the defensive end of the floor. You have to if you're going to try to win.
It falls short. 53 seconds left in the second. The baseline J kept alive. Bennett. It's good. Nice offensive rebound.
He saw the height mismatch and went to work immediately. That's smart basketball.
Here is Calderon. They need this. Number 27 snatches it inside. Takes it up. Johnson's shot is off. The dump off. Number 32. Scooped up. Another shot, and he lays that one up and in.
You can't let guys get so close to the hoop like that. You got to bump them and choke them a little bit as they come through the paint. Make them feel you.
Johnson. The shot, no good. That'll do it for the first half.
Take a look at what Kobe's done. He has 5 points.
Time now for the HP Halftime Report this Tuesday. Let's get right into it. Some good basketball for the away team. A powerhouse defensive display. They've been stifling on the defensive side of the court. Allen Iverson's given this club a nice shot in the arm. He's chipped in.
And as the quarter begins, both teams have been trading blows like prize fighters. A close ball game. So with Kobe sitting on the bench, this is who Eric Spoelstra has on the floor. They've got Pippen. Bill Laimbeer out there with Chris Paul. Then there's Allen Iverson.
So far today, they're showing a little more effort and hustle. They've got a small advantage on the glass right now.
Paul outside. From about 16. Laimbeer's shot is off. Now here's Jordan. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. And now our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, has some info for us. Doris, take it away.
Hey, Kevin. Well, obviously an exciting year for the Miami Heat. It seems like the excitement has not died down, even maybe grown since the signing of LeBron and Chris Bosh to play alongside D-Wade. Every game is a big game when you're going up against this assemblage of talent. And for the Heat fans, Kevin, they can't get enough as the new chemistry comes together for a rejuvenated Miami team, especially as we see them play more games together. Back to you.
Well, their excitement, understandable. Superstar team constructed almost overnight. Now here's Paul. Defense is right there. Poked loose. So it's both teams making substitutions here. They haven't given up any points here in the second half. Udrich for three. Baxter grabs the rebound inside. Clark, you look at Ben Udrich last season, he was probably enjoying his best year as a pro.
Yeah, I agree with you. And part of that, I think you might have to attribute to the youngster, the Rookie of the Year, Tyreke Evans. I mean, Udrich was able to feast on all the attention that Evans drew, and that can always help a complimentary player play more relaxed and produce at a higher level.
Their biggest lead of the game was 9. Here's Ramirez. Kevin Durant with the rebound.
He really needs to hit that consistently, or they'll just keep letting him shoot it.
And it's tied up. Durant's got 10 points in the game.
They finally come back to tie it up. Let's see if they can pull ahead now.
Here's Ramirez. No good on the baseline J.
The D didn't respect him from that distance, and now we know why.
It's Durant on the wing. For the lead. Doesn't get enough under it.
Really not enough defensive pressure there to force that miss. He's got to be disappointed.
Kept alive. Goes back up. Here's Ramirez. Can't convert the layup.
Well, he doesn't have the softest touch. And with the D right in his face, that made all the difference.
Greetings from Los Angeles, everyone. The Lakers have a Western Conference contest on their hands as they play this one here at the Staples Center. Good Tuesday morning. Let's get this day started out right with the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan. They've got Lowry. Allen Iverson out there with Michael Jordan. Then it's Harden. We've got Allen Iverson. He's out there with... Michael Jordan. Lowry out there with Harden. The away team take the tip-off and will set up the offense. So with Durant sitting on the bench, this is Phil Jackson's lineup. They've got B.J. Armstrong. Allen Iverson out there with Michael Jordan. Then it's Henderson. Here's Olajuwon. And, yep, that falls, and the foul is called. We'll see him shoot one from the free throw line. Kevin Durant's checked in for Allen Iverson. No good there. He's unable to convert on the three-point play. Here is Harden. Green, covered by Evans. And there's Michael Jordan, the assist by Iverson. Here is Durant. Number 49 corrals the miss inside. 22 seconds left in the first. Here's Frazier, and it's good. Assisting on the play was Jordan. And here's Evans. Durant for three. Kept alive. Here's Olajuwon. Another shot, and that's laid up and in.
You have to block this guy out, Kevin. He's just too active on the boards to be left alone.
Some great action here early as we end the first quarter. Clark in the tie. And we'll be back in... Both teams neck and neck as we begin the second quarter. Here is Calderon. Lowry out there with Martin. Then there's Allen Iverson. Then it's Michael Jordan and McGee. Here's Evans, and he nails the triple. Evans has got his first 3 points of the game.
For a player of his skill, it's going to take a lot better defense than that.
It's a three-point game. So with Durant sitting on the bench, this is Phil Jackson's lineup. B.J. Armstrong is out there with Ronaldo Balkman. Then there's Calderon. Then it's Henderson. Here is Calderon.
They're close to unstoppable right now. The offense is firing on all cylinders, clicking nicely.
Number 42. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Jordan.
Excellent anticipation there, Kev. He placed that pass perfectly. Here, they'll want to hold for one shot.
Shoots a three. It's rebounded by Allen Iverson. And here comes Lowry. Here's Green. That doesn't go either for Jordan. Here's Baxter. The shot is off. And the first half is now in the books. The home team up 3.
Hello and happy Tuesday to you. It's been a great day for NBA action here on HP. And now we send you back to the game.
Well, it's been a tight game as we enter the second half. Both teams going at it. 3-point lead. Kicking off the second half, here's Lionel Hollins 5. Lowry out there with Michael Jordan. Then it's Harden. Then there's Allen Iverson. Here's Jordan. Can't get it to go. Jordan with some nice D. Jordan gets the whistle for blocking. That is his first foul of the game.
Well, it can be awfully hard to stay in front of guys at this level. He tried his best, but still got hit with the foul.
Now Harden. Here's Lowry. Number 42 backs in. Puts too much on it.
That's not something you'll see very often. Got the mid-range jumper he wanted, but off target.
From the stripe, Jordan with the bucket. Jordan's got his first points in this one.
They say the mid-range game is becoming a lost art in the NBA, but you certainly couldn't tell it from watching that play. What a sweet stroke.
Number 49, the three ball. And Allen Iverson the bucket, the assist by Lowry. He has 5.
Kevin, that's what you expect from him. When the pressure's at its highest, with the game on the line, that's when he's at his best.
And so this one is tightly contested as we end the third. The home... And now let's send it to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, for our strike spark of the game. Doris?
Kevin, the spark in this game came from the home team. They jumped out early with a big run in the first period, and they've protected that lead since, guys.
Great, Doris. That big scoring run being a difference maker, Clark, in this game.
Well, it often comes in spurts, Kevin. Spurtability is what I call it, and that's what happened today.
Trailing by 2. Less than 1 minute left. So with Jordan on the bench, this is Phil Jackson's lineup. Henderson out there with Allen Iverson. And it's Durant. Then it's B.J. Armstrong.
Oh, that's much in the clutch. They needed that one, Kev.
This is a crucial possession for him. A lot at stake here. Now here's Durant. He's guarded closely.
Just put the ball in his hands, Kevin, and watch him go to work. He's going to make something good happen.
A 2-point game. Number 5. B.J. Armstrong comes up with the rebound. Right now, these guys holding on to a small lead.
It's anyone's game right now, partner. Every possession is critical. With a comfortable lead, they should be able to finish this one off.
15 seconds left in the fourth. From deep. It bounces out of bounds after the shot. So both teams making some changes here. Here is Calderon. And so they go with the intentional foul. They're not yet in the penalty, so they'll need to commit a second foul to send them to the line.
That's exactly what they need to do to stretch out this game. Smart foul there.
Here's Fisher. And there's the whistle as they commit the intentional foul.
They needed to take that foul to stop the clock. That clock is not their friend at this stage in the game.
Off target on the first. That's off as well, so he misses both. Here comes Kyle Lowry. Takes it up and laid up and in. Here's Marai, and so the home crowd treated to a win. It was tight, but they managed to come up with the win.
You know, nobody wants to lose a close game, Kevin. It's much better to win those tight ones.
Well, that'll do it for us. For Clark Kellogg and Doris Burke, Kevin Harlan saying so long. And as we end the game, we bring you our Jordan Brand Player of the Game.
It's Tuesday Hoops. Up next, it's the Boston Celtics going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Celtics, Timberwolves, coming up next.
Thanks for joining us as we bring you this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. Along with Doris Burke and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. It's Western Conference against the Eastern Conference here in Minnesota, where the Timberwolves will try to protect home court. So let's take a look at the Boston Celtics starting lineup. Chandler out there with Wallace. Then it's Michael Jordan. Then it's Schrempf and McHale. And for the Timberwolves, Chris Kaman out there with Dennis Rodman. Then there's Darren Williams. Then there's Ellis and Anthony. So the Timberwolves win the tip. And here is Williams. Takes it up. Ellis can't get it to go.
That was a desperation move there. The defense was all over him, and he tried to change his shot at the last second.
Jordan's shot is off. On defense, Boston. Releases. That doesn't go either for Ellis. And here are the Celtics now, taken away by Anthony.
That's what happens when you get greedy with those long passes.
The open shot, Williams nets it from the wing. Here is Schrempf. 17 seconds left in the first quarter. Byers top of the key. Jordan with the bucket.
He's just so gifted offensively. He's a tough guy to match up with.
Williams passes to Anthony. Detlef Schrempf comes up with the rebound. And here is McHale. Tie game in Minnesota. And we'll get it going after this from the Target Center. A closely contested game here at the start of the second quarter. Here is Jennings. On the floor for Boston. There with Michael Jordan. Then there's Charlie Villanueva. Then there's Kevin McHale and Wallace. Jordan's shot is off. Now the Timberwolves with it. A quick shot. Nails the bank shot.
They're extremely lucky to have the lead here. They were bothered by the defense in the first quarter. It was harassing them a bit and threw them off rhythm. Shooting only around 25% from the field right now.
Now here's Jordan. Lets it go from the wing. That's good. Jordan's got his second bucket.
That's simply what a superstar does. He can make the most difficult plays look silky smooth.
Scott can't get it to go.
Kevin, he doesn't miss those layups often. Interior D made him think about that one, though.
And again, it's Michael Jordan. Jordan's got 6. There's Gallinari with the 3. It's good. Great play by Williams to set it up.
He can be dangerous from out there. As a matter of fact, he can be lethal. His first from the arc after having none in the first quarter. Keep an eye on him.
Here's Jennings. And no good trying to get that one. And that concludes the first half.
Looking at the game Gallinari has been having, he's got 5 points, then he's buried 1 3-pointer in the course of this game. He's got more than half his team's points. Unreal.
We'll come right back from Minneapolis.
And welcome to HP at the half. We got a close game right now out at Target Center. And now back to the game in Minnesota. Glad to have you with us here on 2K Sports.
And now the start of the second half. Very close game so far. Here is Schrempf. We've got Anthony. Darren Williams out there with Ellis. Then there's Chris Kaman and Rodman. So that's the Timberwolves 5.
When you settle for that kind of shot, that's a wasted possession. That is not a high percentage look.
Here are the Celtics with the ball. It's a 1-point game. Here's Jordan. Jordan can't get that one to fall. Here's Rodman. Here's Anthony. And it's Anthony slamming it down. Now Sprite slam cam to replay that one.
Nice feed inside. Sets his teammate up for the easy deuce.
Schrempf passes to Jordan. Over Anthony. Boston, no good that time either.
You got to expect more out of him here. He's had a lot of difficulty this quarter, which in turn is making it difficult for them to cut into this deficit at all.
Here's Kaman. Kevin McHale pulls it in.
That's not something you'll see very often. Got the mid-range jumper he wanted, but off target.
And so this one is tightly contested as we end the third.
Looking at the game Gallinari has been having, he's got 5 points, and he's been able to hit the 3-ball.
Fourth quarter getting going here. It's time for our Sprite Spark of the Game report. Let's go to Doris Burke.
Today's spark of the game, Kevin, is Danilo Gallinari. Without his contribution off the bench, they may not have been able to keep this one as close as it is. Now let's see if they can build a lead here in the fourth, Kevin.
And Doris, thank you. Clark, what a spark he's been.
The provocateur entered the game and wasn't going the direction they had planned and turns it around. Well done.
Less than 1 minute left. And a look at the 5 for the Celtics to start the fourth quarter. There with Kevin McHale, and it's Michael Jordan, then it's Schrempf. The Timberwolves with an excellent chance to put the nail in the coffin. And that one's good, Ellis. Celtics on offense, trailing by 5. From deep, Jordan. That doesn't go either for Jordan.
You have to question his shot selection, Kevin. Poor shots equal bricks and misses.
And so they will intentionally foul it. Both teams deciding to change it up. Here is Williams.
Boston foul called. Brandon Jennings. That's his first personal foul. Second.
Gets the first. That increases their lead to 6. J.J. Hickson, he's checked in for the Timberwolves. Perfect from the line, and it's a 7-point ball game.
Clutch free throws there. He drained them all to raise the lead. Kevin, not much they can do right now. Time is not on their side.
Here's Jordan. Jordan with another miss. Now here's Anthony. Outside Williams. And so the Timberwolves take the win. They pulled off this win, Clark, with respectable performances on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think it was just really a nice overall effort, Kevin.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. For Clark and Doris and the rest of the crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Last but not least, here is your Jordan Brand Player of the Game, Darren Williams.
It's Tuesday Hoops. Up next, it's the Boston Celtics going up against the Rookies. Coming up.
And 2K Sports welcomes you to the NBA. Kevin Harlan here with Clark Kellogg. Glad to have you on board.
It's Tuesday Hoops. Up next, it'll be the Portland Trail Blazers facing off against the Boston Celtics. Portland, Boston, up next.
A look from earlier at Brandon Roy, a key player to the Trailblazers' chances tonight. We are live in Boston, Massachusetts, the gem of New England, as the Celtics are about to go into this interconference contest right here. Good Tuesday morning. Let's get this day started out right with the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan. Let's take a look at our starters for Portland. They've got David Lee, Roy out there with Magic Johnson, then it's Brook Lopez. And for Boston, Kevin McHale out there with Schrempf, then it's Wallace, then there's Jennings and Jordan. Well, the Blazers were a pretty good road team last season as well.
Yeah, 24 road wins, which was just 2 behind the win total they had at home.
And the Trailblazers start out with the ball. Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Hey, Kevin, I had a chance to catch up with Nate McMillan. Making things difficult when they're on defense is something they would like to accomplish in this one. He feels that if they can force things away from the basket and make their shooters settle for shots they don't want to take, they'll have the upper hand in this game. We'll see how it turns out, guys.
Thanks, Doris. So defense is the key early on.
You know, it's not surprising, Kevin, when you think about the great team. So much of their game planning really starts at the defensive end of the floor.
I think to follow up what you said, the Blazers were just a really consistent team, both home and away.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Kevin. It's just really unfortunate that they lost so many player games to injury. I mean, you have to wonder what a healthy Portland team can accomplish because the last couple of years, they've had key people go down at inopportune times.
Now Roy, following the three-point attempt by Michael Jordan. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the strike for two.
Contact certainly altered that shot. The official was right on top of it.
That's good from Roy. No good on the second free throw. Here are the Celtics with the ball. Here's Jordan. Fired short, but gets the kind roll and goes in.
Just put the ball in his hands, Kevin, and watch him go to work. He's going to make something good happen.
Johnson dishes to Roy. He's picked up by Jordan. Lee, left side. Stolen away.
The lob was a little misjudged, and he couldn't get control of it.
Baseline jumper. Michael Jordan again. Jordan's got his second basket of the game. Here's Johnson. 31 seconds left in the first quarter. Outside Roy. Fades back. Gets the bucket.
I'm not a big fan of the fadeaway in that situation, but he drained it. Nice shot.
On defense, Portland. McHale kicks to Jordan. The three. Jordan can't get that one to fall.
He's had some problems finding the range here in this quarter.
Johnson, the pass to Roy. Rebound by Wallace.
Once he gets it inside, Kevin, he's really a good finisher. That's a good effort defensively to force the miss.
So both teams going at it here early as we end the first. Trailblazers lead by one.
They're playing lock.
And we begin the second quarter. We've got a close game. Here is Jennings. Here are the five Portland has to start the second quarter. Magic Johnson is out there with Brandon Roy. Then it's Woolridge. Then there's Jason Maxiell and Lopez. Here's Roy. In regards to performance on home court for Boston, 24 wins in the regular season for the Celtics last year. Not bad. Not great. Not bad, though.
Not typical of a championship contending team, but they were so dominant the year before that it did seem like they let down considerably with those 24 wins at home.
Here's Jordan. And again, it's Boston converting.
Well, the defense can't give up chances like that too often, or you'll pay for it dearly.
Trailblazers trail by 3. Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, what do you have?
Well, guys, David Lee is not the tallest guy in the league, but he has an edge because he's so good finishing with either hand. It turns out when he was in high school,
It's the Pacers in Indianapolis as we bring you an Eastern Conference contest. Kevin Harlan here with Clark Kellogg as we bring you the NBA on 2K Sports. And now the opening lineup for Boston. Shrimp out there with Kevin McHale. Then it's Michael Jordan. Then it's Wallace and Jennings. And for the Pacers, Malone is out there with Shane Battier. Then it's Gilbert Arenas. Then there's Johnson. And the Pacers start off with the ball. Arenas with it. Malone in the post. Wallace is there. Draws the foul. He'll get a trip to the line.
That's a good call by the referee. There was definitely some contact on the release of the shot.
Shooting for Indiana.
The first free throw is good. That one falls, so he hits both of them. Here is Jennings. Outside Jordan. No good. And Indiana will go the other way with it. Knocked loose. Jennings against Arenas. Jordan. Jennings passes to McHale. Pass to Jordan. Over Battier. And there's Michael Jordan, the assist by McHale.
Just put the ball in his hands, Kevin, and watch him go to work. He's going to make something good happen.
Now here's Arenas. On the wing, Johnson. Let's go with the three. That's good, and Arenas with the assist. Johnson's got his first 3 points of the game. Here is Jennings. Here's Jordan. Jump shot is good that time. And a lot of offense on display in this first quarter. Pacers out in front, leading by just one.
Well, they're off to a hot start.
Close game here at the start of the second quarter of play. Here's Dragic. So with Jordan on the bench, here's the 5 for Doc Rivers right now. We've got Kevin McHale. He's out there with Wallace. Dragic is out there with Schrempf. Number 1. The shot no good, so Boston will take it the other way. And here's Schrempf. It's blocked. Here's Dragic. He dumps it off. Out to Schrempf. A missed 3. And Indiana has possession. And here's Turkoglu from the arc. Schrempf against the rebound. Easy shot. And it's Schrempf again missing.
Kevin, that's the kind of shot you want. You can't ask for better execution on offense, but sometimes they just don't fall.
And so we wrap up the first half. Pacers lead by 1.
And it's been a great basketball game going on in Indianapolis. Now time for And that'll just about wrap things up for us. Thanks so much for watching. Now let's send you...
The start of the second half getting underway. It's been a closely contested game so far. Here's Jennings. They've got Gilbert Arenas. Shane Battier is out there with Malone. Then there's Johnson. So that's the group out there for Indiana. And Indiana has possession. It's a one-point game. Jennings with the steal.
This is an obvious 2-for-1 situation. Let's see their clock management skills.
Here's Jordan. That doesn't go either for Jordan.
That's not something you'll see very often. Got the mid-range jumper he wanted, but off target.
Pass to Battier, and stolen by Jordan. Shoots from 12. Pinballs around and in. Jordan's got 6 points.
He's just so clutch. Here's a guy you want on your side with the game on the line, Kevin.
Here's Arenas. Got a piece of it. Here's Johnson, and that's off as he tries to beat the buzzer. And so this one is tightly contested as we end the third.
The Celtics, 6.